What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. So today we're going to be going over some news with the stock market. As you can see, S&P 500 index is up almost 10%, which is pretty remarkable considering everything that's going down. So I'm going to keep this really simple for you guys. So we're going to be going over some dividend-paying companies that have suspended dividends. So let's just go over a few of our terms to keep it simple. So what is the S&P 500? S&P 500 is a stock market index that measures the stock performance of 500 large companies listed on stock exchanges in the United States. It is one of the most commonly followed equity indices, and many consider it to be one of the best representations of the U.S. stock market. So there you go. It stocks, basically S&P, it measures the stock performance of 500 large companies. As you can see, it was close to its all-time highs right here, over 3,000, and now it is currently at 2447. But when the situation came out with the bug that you guys know about, as you can see, it dropped and then it went up, and then it dropped and it went up, and it dropped and it went up, and then it dropped again. So no one really knows how much more of a drop we have left, but I would predict at this point there's probably going to be more of a drop, because once the earnings come out and we see how much companies have lost during this time, it's going to be interesting to say the least. My prediction is that this is going to drop a lot more. So I'm just dollar cost averaging, which basically means I'm putting in a little bit at a time and not putting everything I have at one time. That's just my strategy. It works for me. And as you guys know or don't know, I prefer companies that pay dividends. So what is a dividend? It's a sum of money paid regularly, typically quarterly, although it can be monthly, by a company to its shareholders out of its profits or reserves, a number to be divided by another number. So basically a dividend is a payment that a company gives you for just owning the stock. So that is what I like to do. So I'm going to go over a few companies that have suspended dividends and show you guys that although it's a good strategy, dividends are not by any means a guarantee. So first company that has suspended dividends is Ford Motors. Yes, they have a market cap of almost 20 billion. PE ratio of 139, dividend yield of 12%, and as you guys can see, it is pretty low at only 495. And it's been kind of rocky. As you guys can see, it was pretty good in the 90s, and then it just started to taper off. And then, as you guys know or don't know, in 08, when the crash happened, the market basically took a nosedive, and then it went back up, and then it went down, and it's kind of held steady around $15 or so. I never owned Ford because it wasn't my strategy. I don't even have any automotive companies besides Tesla. Tesla's the only one that I put a little bit in just because Tesla was intriguing at the time, but I didn't put too much. So I do not own Ford. And just to show you guys their dividends, as you can see, they've been paying since 2001, and this is not really a great chart for me. It dropped here and then it dropped again and it went up, and ever since 2015 it's been pretty much stagnant. They've had a few, looks like, special dividends, but it's not really something I'm looking at, something that I would ever even want to consider with the situation with it. And on Simply Safe Dividends, a website I like to use, as you can see, it gives you some notes about it. And this is actually old. It says March 16th, their commitment to the dividend, but that's not true. I saw an article, they have dropped their dividends as of now. And the dividend growth is very slow from last year. The last 5 years, it still shows slow. In the last 20 years, negative 3%, very slow. So definitely not good for me. And the next earnings release is going to be May 2020. So it's going to be in a few months, and I don't expect it to be very good. So that's the first one. Ford, they have suspended their dividends as of now, and it's not a company that I own, nor is it one that I will be looking at. Alright guys, so the next stock is Delta. It's one that I talked in my last video as well. I'll leave a link in the description in case you didn't check it out. And Delta is pretty cheap as well right now. It's about $27, almost 6% dividend yield. But look at this, it is completely tanked, and it doesn't look like it's going to go up anytime soon. The PE ratio is only about 3.68, market cap of 17 billion. As we go over here, we can see, let's see, Delta's dividend safety score downgraded to borderline safe, as the bug pressures airlines, and the dividend growth, it's had good dividend growth, guys. So prior to this whole situation, Delta was actually looking good, and it was a company that I was looking at investing in, but I'm not going to touch airlines right now. It's too risky for me. And over here on the dividend channel site, as you can see, it's a good chart. I can't lie, it's a good chart. They've been raising their dividends. Looks like every year or so it's been going up, and Delta is pretty solid. Like I said, I would have looked at it more seriously, but right now, because it's suspended dividends and it's still tanking, I'm not going to get anywhere near this. So if they didn't suspend their dividends, I might have considered it, but at this point the airline business is in complete disarray and we just got to wait on it, and I am not getting anywhere near this one. Alright, now let me show you the next one. The next stock here is Marriott International. Currently it is at $79 a share. PE ratio of 20, market cap of 25.66 billion, dividend percent is 2.43, and this one has completely taken a nosedive as well. It used to be around 150, 140, around there, and now it is at 79. And as you can see here, the news, it does not look good. The flu, or should I say the bug outbreak, worse for business than 9/11. So a lot of bad news coming out with this whole situation. And it is a multinational diversified hospitality company that manages and franchises a broad portfolio of hotels and related lodging facilities. So it's a hotel business, Marriott. I'm sure you guys all know it. So let's go over here, take a look at the Simply Safe dividend. And the dividend growth, again, look at this. This is a good chart, guys. I mean, it is growing. So it is definitely one I would have looked at, but like I said, once you suspend dividends, it's game over for me. So I gotta just bounce and go to the next thing. But I was looking at this one prior, and I do not own it currently, and I do not plan on owning it. And even here, as you can see, look at that. That's as good of a chart as it gets, guys. Just solid growth. But like I said, they cut the dividend. We move on. We don't waste our time when they cut the dividends. Once they cut the dividends, I'm not interested at the moment, and they didn't even cut it, they suspended it. So who knows what that means and how long it's not gonna be getting paid out for. On to the next stock. The Goliath Boeing, 72 billion market cap, and it is currently trading at $127 a share when it used to be at $380, $350, $340, and then $200. So I do own some Boeing. I gotta admit, I did own some Boeing. I still do. I'm considering selling them off. I'm kind of in between at the moment. They had a good dividend yield of 6.44%, but the news is not good. Look at this. Just an hour ago, Trump says he will not let Boeing go out of business. So I don't think they're gonna let Boeing fail, because Boeing is a huge company. In case you guys don't know about Boeing, it's an American multinational corporation that designs, manufactures, and sells airplanes, rotorcraft, rockets, satellites, telecommunications equipment, and missiles worldwide. The company also provides leasing and product support services. So Boeing, they're a massive company. I don't think they're going to go anywhere, but their dividend cut was definitely not good. A lot of the news with the company hasn't been good, though, to be honest. As you guys can see, the bug 737 MAX delay increased pressure on Boeing's dividend. This was on March 11th. Today is March 24th. January 24th, the new CEO. No plans to reduce dividends despite additional MAX return to service delay. And let's keep going down. A lot of news, a lot of bad news. The dividend growth, though, was solid. Last year, 20%. Last 5 years, 23%. Last 20 years, 14%. So very fast dividend growth. As you guys can see here, this is a pretty good chart. It's been growing over time. So, like I said, I do own Boeing, but I don't plan on buying any more, that's for sure. And whether or not to sell or to keep, I think for now I want to keep it, because hopefully the dividend comes back soon. That's my hope at this point in time. The stock did go up 20%, so I guess that's something to look at as well. But yeah. See, this is the main thing, guys. Even big companies can cut dividends, and you just have no idea of knowing if it's going to come back, how much they're going to bring back. And yeah, so even the big companies can go down. You got to really be strategic and you got to decide who in your mind is going to be able to survive these situations that come up, disasters, and that's where the individual stock picker is going to show how good or how bad your decision making is. So you got to use your discernment, which is judgment, and make a judgment call on how you think these companies are going to perform. So Boeing, another one that has suspended their dividends. On to the next one. Cut their dividend is Nordstrom. I'm sure you guys know about Nordstrom, but in case you don't, it's an American luxury department store chain founded in 1901 by John W. Nordstrom and Carl F. Wallen. It originated as a shoe store and evolved into a full-line retailer with departments for clothing, footwear, handbags, jewelry, accessories, cosmetic, and fragrances. And they have been around for a long time, as you can see, from the early 80s up until now. Their growth has been pretty solid. It went up all the way to $82 and then it dropped, and it's just been tanking because no one's going. Who's going to the malls, right? You gotta be at home, be safe, and follow whatever rules, I guess, or guidelines your area is telling you. So no one's going to the malls right now unless you're crazy. And let me see, what does the news say here? There you go. Nordstrom suspends dividends, halts buybacks, and taps credit. And there you go. So as you can see, this is all recent news, guys. So things are happening very quickly here. I do not own, I should say, any Nordstrom. I don't plan on owning them. And let's look at their Simply Safe dividend score. So the dividend growth has been pretty slow. Last year 0%, last 5 years 2%, so very slow. Last 20 years it's at 12%, so very fast. And their numbers, like I said, it's pretty solid. We look over here and same thing. So they've had a pretty good track record of growing. I guess in 2016 they had a special dividend they paid out. So yeah, there you go, special dividend over here. But yeah, my prediction is, even when this whole thing clears up, who's going to want to go to the malls and buy clothing? I mean, clothing is the one thing people try on, and you know, that's just me. I don't think it's going to be doing too well for a while. That's just my prediction. I do not own Nordstrom's and I don't plan on it. And yeah, even though it's looking decent over here, down here it's not too good. So I'm gonna skip Nordstrom. On to the next one. This is Darden Restaurants, and it is currently trading at 53.89. As you can see here, it's completely nosediving, it's crashing. It was in the 117s. Dividend yield of 6.53%, market cap 6.55. In case you guys don't know what this company owns, I'm gonna break it down for you right here. So Darden Restaurant is a restaurant company, owns and operates restaurants through subsidiaries in the US and Canada under the Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Cheddar Scratch Kitchen, Yard House, The Capitol Grill, Seasons 52, Bahama Breeze, and Eddie V's Prime Seafood trademarks. Company also for reportable segments: Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Fine Dining, which includes The Capitol Grill and Eddie V's, and other businesses, which I already just went over. So they basically own, I guess, some food companies, and they have been around a long time, since 1995. Pretty steady growth, nothing crazy, and their dividend growth as well has been pretty steady. So it looks good, solid dividend growth. It's got a decent market cap, about $7 billion, but it has suspended dividends. And as you can see down here, this year it had a 17% growth. Last 5 years, 10%. Last 20 years, 23%. And the financials, as you can see, the next earnings release, June 2020. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I can guarantee you guys that these companies mentioned here, subsidiaries I should say, their numbers are going to be horrendous. I'm just calling it. That's my prediction. Because who's going to eat outside right now? It doesn't make any sense. You got to be on lockdown. Who's going to go out to eat? It's not going to happen. So Darden Restaurants, I do not own them. I do not plan on owning them. And yeah, hopefully they can make a recovery, because all those people who work in the food industry, I know they're struggling right now. So hopefully this whole thing can get situated quickly and those people can get back to doing what they gotta do. Alright, on to the next thing. In case you guys don't know Macys, it's an American holding company founded by Xavier Warren in 1929. Upon its establishment, Federated held ownership of the regional department store chain Abraham and Strauss, Lazarus, Filene's, and Shilito's. Bloomingdale's joined Federated Department Stores the following year. So Macys, in case you guys don't know, is a department store. They sell clothing and shoes. It's kind of like a Nordstrom. I haven't shopped there in a long time, but I know a lot of people still go to the malls and they shop there. So they've been around since 1995. Look at this. This is pretty decent growth, right? Pretty good. It dropped a little bit, went up. It dropped, it went up. But look at it now. It's only $5 a share. Market cap of $1.75 billion. Dividend yield of 27%, which I don't know how long that's been going, but I guarantee you guys not for that long. And it's completely taken a hit. Even the news from a day ago, Macys dividend suspended was needed. Macys halts dividend growth, withdraws guidelines. You go over here, and it's from 2019, so it's old news. We're not going to look at that. Dividend growth, last year, very slow, 0%. Last 5 years, 5% average. Last 10 years, 22%, very fast. So their dividend growth has not been very good, as you guys can see, recently. But in the past 10 years, it's been, I guess, very fast. They're going to release the reports last earnings report, February 25th. So it already came out recently. And when it says May 2021, it doesn't mean May of next year. The fiscal year, I guess, changes, but it's going to be May in like a few months. So that's why it looks like they probably took a hit, because their reports, well, if it was February, it was before this whole thing happened. So it might have been decent, but even then, people aren't really shopping at malls that much. And as you guys can see here, the dividend growth has been pretty solid. So Macys, another Goliath in the American economy, and they've taken a hit. So again, what is the theme of this video? These major companies are not safe from dividend suspensions and cuts. It can happen. I do not own Macys. I never have owned Macys. I probably will not buy Macys. It's not part of my strategy. I don't think Macys will do very well, so they're not going to be in my portfolio anytime soon. Alright guys, I think that's good for now. This video is going to get too long, so I'm going to leave it here. And what else do I gotta say? Oh, so out of all these stocks I showed you guys, I only own Boeing. I owned them before this whole fiasco happened. They're not a huge part of my portfolio. They're pretty small. I will not be buying more. Most likely I will not be selling. I'm just gonna hold on and hopefully they can bring their dividend back. And everything else at this point I'm not gonna buy or touch. Airline companies, I'm not touching them right now because you gotta wait and see what's gonna happen. So I'm staying away from airline companies, and that's about it for now. Alright guys, I'll keep you guys posted. Seems like every day there's something new. Been busy with work, but hopefully I can get you guys videos more consistently, because this is my stress relief, and I like doing this, it's fun. Alright, that being said, be safe out there, have a good rest of your day, and peace.